The launch is finally there. Our Poker Ambition Academy is now live. With our more advanced products like the mechanics of poker and masterclasses, we were aiming for the mid to high stakes players. While I'm very much aware that the majority of you are going to be playing a little bit lower stakes, and for that, we have now provided the Poker Ambition Academy. Go over to our site, pokerambition.com, to find out more. Is this the WAKKO show? Yes, you're in the right place, my friend. This is indeed the WAKKO show. Today, we're going to be reviewing some high stakes poker. You fall out of the boat, as we say in the Netherlands. Here we have an open, a call, and a squeeze. And when I see 7-5-8 with this action, I assume check range for Dot, and he's in a lot of trouble. That's kind of how this spot is going to play, I assume. Thinking about it, but I assume he's gonna end up checking. He checks, as kind of expected. And a bet, which I expect to almost be happening with range here. As we're a very big portion of our range that calls and then calls again is gonna be pocket pairs. For example, I looked it up here. Like, we're gonna be Broadway heavy and have a lot of pairs here in the middle. So let's say we call and the flop is indeed, what was it? 8, 5, 7. 66.5% check. So like I said, quite a high checking frequency, and I assume in position can bet a lot in position. Basically, there is not really a hand that's a clear check. Ace king off, clear check. Ace queen suited, reasonably clear check. Tens actually, but I think most people will just bet tens. But yeah, it's just a very good board. And it's definitely something that you shouldn't ignore. Basically, poker is quite simple. If there is a board where someone has a lot of strong hands, it's usually not a good idea to start betting into that range. Okay? Little limpy. This is also the fun thing about having antes. You know, you can in general just VPip more. Which is also good for the site, right? Everyone VPipping more, the average pot goes up. I don't understand why they don't just make everything ante. It's a spot where he's probably gonna do a bit too much betting, usually on boards and limp pots where there's like a 2-7, the low end connected in the future. The big blind can make quite a lot of straights. For example, he has 3-7 off that you don't have. He can have 4-5 off that you might not have. Are the tables live or are we watching a replay? We're watching a replay. We got a little raise here from Mr. Lee and a tank now from Dux. What is he deciding to do? Interesting tank. I think we usually just check. Okay, he followed out for a little while and decided to check. A snap call. Interesting river. Recreationals. General read here on recreationals is recreationals are a little bit afraid of flushes. So then what you often see is that they will forget to value bet hands, but they might still bluff. So usually when flush completes, when the flush completes, there can be some imbalances going on. Okay.
Because I'm operating on the assumption that he's very polarized in that spot, which combinatorically narrows his value range a ton and could create a bluffing imbalance if he's not very careful.
So yeah, combinatorically speaking, a bluffing in frequency can occur on this river, I would say. Daniel Drill, long live WAKKO. Thank you very much for the sub, man. Thank you very much for the sub. Stars tested anti-zoom. I wonder how that test went. Apparently not that great, right? Else I would have kept it. But I think especially in zoom, yeah. I would like it. I would like to see it. Big thank you from Dugs. It's quite interesting now what bluff Mr. Lee can have. Let's say, for example, he did raise 4-6 or something. Well, that now got there. Let's say he raised for 5-4. He's now gonna check. So yeah, he needs to turn over something really YOLO. So I wouldn't be too excited to hero call here from Dugs. The most natural bluffs aren't really there. Queen 3 and Queen 9. He tanked about it. I would have probably liked to raise a bit more, right? Yeah, I wouldn't have minded a raise. Depending on your recreational. With the Queen of Diamonds, I think the Queen of Diamonds is a very good card to have. No need to bet anything bigger. He has 5 big blinds left now, so we have a very shorty game. We got actually 2 all-ins here. An ace-king versus queens, and an ace-queen versus ace-6. Okay, ace-king all-in, guys.
What the fuck? Let's gamble. Baby girl. Here we go, baby girl. Here we go.
Okay.
Come on, bitch.
Alright.
You had jacks. Oh my god. King.
King. Come on.
Shit!
Okay, not good time, but the ace-king won. Queens didn't hold, so... Hey, Mr. WAKKO, if you don't have many tables to choose from, would you play a lineup where the table is full of good racks and 1 mediocre recreation, but you have the worst position on the fish? The recreational is to your direct left. If I would play the game, if I have nothing else, I guess also... Usually, yes, if I have... But if I have no tables and that's the only game, I'm just gonna do something else, basically. But let's say I play 1 table, that's good. There's no other game. It depends how... Yeah, it depends on what the alternatives are. If you don't have many tables to choose from, would you play a lineup? For example, I would play any game that's where the game is 5-handed or less, basically. Because then always, you know, you can still have someone joining the game. Whereas if it's already 6-handed, yeah, you don't really have that benefit anymore. No, I actually missed the action. So again, it was a raise call, just like the previous hand. That goes for a 1/3, which becomes a good strategy. I don't know how big you open, but basically the smaller you open, the wider the big blind calls, and the more you can bet 1/3. The bigger you open, the tighter he is, the more you want to bet, the more of a polarized strategy. Gonna have a high checking frequency on this turn. He bets quite big, 3/4. I would assume that this usually, for the most players that are watching, if you play lower stakes, this is a spot where you should massively overfold. Because people will not... first of all, they will not slow play enough. It's a spot where you have to do some trappy checking. And so they will usually bet too much of their strong hands. And they will lack the bluffs. What street do you think people make the biggest mistakes on? I think I mean, in terms of a solver, right? The biggest errors, if you play, for example, GTO trainer, the biggest errors occur on the river. But this is in the solver, because on the turn, whatever action you take, you still have the river, or at least in the solver world, the solver still has the river to make up for your turn mistake. Same with the flop, right? That's why usually changing something on the flop doesn't really have a big impact, because on later streets we can still maneuver quite well. But I think often... tough question. Because I can make arguments for multiple things. He's probably gonna ship it in. I think, you know... What time is it, guys? I think it's time to...
I think it's just time to ship it in and go to bed.
Ship it in and go to bed. Let's see if Mr. Dutty thinks the same. Yes, ship it in and go to bed. Gets a snap call. So definitely has to be a flush, right? The ace queen with the ace of hearts gets snap called by a flush. Do you need help explaining what the hell goes on in these videos? Well, then Poker Ambition is the place to go to. We offer various services for various levels of players. Go over to our site, pokerambition.com, to find out more. We have a pot, they're not playing that deep. Very good board for the imposition. King high boards in general nail the 3 better. But we have a check call from STEFEN. Can already start narrowing down his range quite a lot there here. I think in his spot, I would just say, yeah, King Queen suited is a very big part of his range. King Queen suited, 9s with a spade. He calls again, yeah, so he probably has King Queen suited, I would say. The Meza would like Queen Jack of diamonds. Or by the way, STEFEN obviously can also still have a flush draw, ace 10 of spades, ace jack of spades. But the ranges here are quite narrow. He's tanking. It's a very annoying spot here because basically your range contains only of bluff catchers. Unless you think he has King Queen suited, you have King Queen suited. But the rest of your range is basically bluff catchers. And given the stack size pre, I don't think he will have 6s that often or 7s. So I guess 9s is an option. He folds. Okay. What happened here? Raise, c-bet 1/3. So far, so standard. I was gonna say turn is probably a mix, but Linus likes to keep his bet size together. He goes for half pot. It's an interesting sizing. I do like it. I think it makes a lot of sense. And a little raise from Isaac. I like as well. It's a good spot for a little mergey raise. Let's say he has 5s, 5 of diamonds, 5 of heart. Ace Jack versus King Deuce. Do I like the King Deuce race? I mean, you have quite a lot of equity, right? So it's gonna be bad. Interesting barrel with Ace Jack. I think it's a fine barrel. Isaac comes out shooting big on the Deuce 7-6. STEFEN this time not with the lead. So it's interesting. Sure, you will have some sort of leading range. Little blocky. Definitely the preferred play. Isaac throwing out the race. Okay. Isaac. What do you have? King 9? King 9 makes sense. Queen 9 makes sense. I think that's what he's going for, the King 9 or the Queen 9. I guess King Queen would be an okay bluff, but don't really think that plays like this. Not because basically if King 9 and Queen 9 is their best value, then STEFEN should be calling a lot with King 7 and Queen 7, King 6, Queen 6 type of holdings. So then you want to basically block the bet. You want to block the bet calls of STEFEN. So bluffing here with a king or a queen, even though Stefan doesn't have king, queen, or queen 9, it's still valuable. Já foi para Nordeste, WAKKO. I mean, I went to... And Stefan again with the block 3 bet. It's the second time. It's a signature move. That's a very good play. I mean, yeah, Isaac is just in a world of trouble right now. Shout out to Stefan, man, guys. Stefan, the GOAT, my favorite player.
Incredibly strong and aggressive play.
Yeah, now Isaac is in the tank. I mean, I guess Stefan just wants to, in terms of rebluffing, like what do you want to have? I guess a 6 or a 7, because I guess 6s, and then Melia gets a 6 because 6s could play like this. An 8 is useless, 10 is useless. I guess you want to rebluff a 6. And basically Isaac has only frequency calls because they're all bluff catchers. I don't really see one being better than the other. Very good. Let's look this hand up in the meanwhile. How did this hand go? Let me... It was bottom versus big blind, correct? We had a deuce, 7, 6. Was it spade? Okay. Oh wait, I did 3-way pot. No, I meant single raise pot. Everything you see. Definitely some big betting gonna go on. Yeah, I would just say like bet range is 3/4 is probably a good strategy. Let's just do that. Our preferred raise item should be small. I would say the 10.9, 9.4%. We call. There was the deuce, right? We should definitely have some leads here. And I know Stefan likes leading, so we can already deduct some hands. Like hand, like 6-5 or something could lead. Oh, sorry. We should just read lead range. My apologies. Okay, so this sim is gonna get quite screwed. Check. Because here's the problem, like this turn solution is based on the fact that basically he now calculates the turn strategy based on the fact that we already almost dunked our range. Whereas if basically if we wouldn't have a dunk, we would not bet this often. But okay, check. River 9. Block, as expected. Still quite some raises. Small raise sizing I think is preferred. Okay, so no. Yes, WAKKO, you're so good. You indeed saw that it was preferred with 0.4%. Okay, so yeah, king 9, queen 9. Like I said, these are gonna be his dominant value. We raise. Our 3-bet 6-5 or something. Do we want to have a 6? 9-6. 7-6, I guess. If we had it. No, we call. What is our most dominant raise then? 10-7. Why the 10? Because he's gonna call with 10s, but in practice they don't have 10s. Yeah, like you see, they don't really have calls. 9-10 barrels. So I don't think this applies at all. 10-8 and 10-9, these are hands that just always barrel in practice, I would say. So I understand that 10-7 wants to re-raise because you block value, but I don't think in practice this works like this. But hey, funky spot. Funky spot. So now Isaac is like, is it likely that Stefan finds... Where was the range again? Is it likely that Stefan finds these hands too often? Or not often enough? So the 10-6, is he gonna go there too often? I don't... It's really hard to say. These spots are really tough. No one is balanced in this spot. So it's up to you to figure out. Oh, he calls. So we have the 10-8 versus the ace-deuce. He checked back the deuce on the turn. Interesting. Not something the solver does. Solver also doesn't open ace-deuce. We hate it hates the deuce, huh? I would assume more like sixes or something is trapping. Nope. Don't think we really trap at all. No, we have no traps. I would definitely have trapped sevens and sixes on the turn. But I'm too trappy. Too trappy. I'm too trappy for my car. Too trappy for my car. So, yeah. Isaac, I think, has a call on the river. I think if Stefan had ace-deuce, he could play it the same way. Yeah. You know, where do you draw the line? Now, if you liked this video, give it a thumbs up, leave a comment down below, and make sure to subscribe to the channel. Take a look at other videos that we've made. I'm sure you will like them as well. Follow us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and Twitch. And make sure to join our Discord community so you can stay up to date with new content, new promotions that we have running here at Poker Ambition. And if you want to know more about Poker Ambition and our services, go over to the site pokerambition.com. Thank you guys for watching and see you in the next video.